Hey center students, welcome to week 2 of our cooking class. I thank you all for your patience. You may have noticed there was a bit of a delay there between week 1 and 2. But I'm back, and today I'll show you how to make salsa criolla. Salsa criolla is a relish dish. It's most commonly associated with Peruvian cuisine. However, you can also find it in the cuisines of other Latin American countries, including Puerto Rico, Nicaragua, as well as other countries. And salsa criolla is best eaten fresh, so even after sitting for just an hour, the onions will begin to get mushy. In Peruvian cuisine, you'll find salsa criolla alongside a wide variety of dishes. Here's a few examples. Side note, taku taku is what we'll cook next week. So a few things before we start working. So first off, as we went over last week, remember safety is the most important thing when you're working in the kitchen. So please do email me if you have any questions. My email is below in the video description. Or if it's an option for you, please ask your parent or guardian if you're not sure how to do something safely. Or as a last resort, you can Google it. Additionally, I recommend that you make this when your parent or guardian is home, so that in case you need help, they can help you. Also, please just give them a heads up before you start working in the kitchen so that they're aware. You'll need everything shown in this photo. There's also a written list in the video description. And you'll want a slightly larger bowl than this one. These tools will also be helpful. So because this is our first time in this class using sharp knives, we're going to go over some knife safety now. So first off, we want to make sure our cutting board is secure and not sliding around on the counter like this. If your cutting board is already secure, then you don't need to do this next part. Dampen 1 or 2 pieces of paper towel with water. Lay the paper towel flat on the counter, then place the cutting board on top. That should help stabilize it. Our next important thing is how we hold the knife. So place your pointer finger and thumb like this. Then wrap your other 3 fingers around the handle like this. And just be careful that your thumb and pointer finger stay on the side of the blade and don't slip underneath. So next we need to make sure that we're being safe with our non-knife hand. Now we need to learn how to be safe with our non-knife hand. So you never want to have your fingers extended like this. It would be way too easy to accidentally cut them. Here's what not to do from another angle. So instead you want to form like a claw like this with that hand, and just keep your knuckles bent and slanted inwards. It will probably feel awkward, but it should keep your fingers safe. Next, you want to avoid chopping straight up and down like what you see me doing right now. Instead, chop with a wave-like motion like this. And lastly, it's important that we use the right size and sharpness of knife for what we're chopping. Lastly, it's also important that we use the right size and sharpness of knife for what we're chopping. So this knife is probably a good size for the onion and cilantro, but you can definitely use a smaller knife for the tomato, lime, and peppers. Alright, that's it for knife safety. Let's get to work. As always, we'll begin our kitchen work by washing our hands with soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds. You can follow this recipe to a T, or like you probably noticed in the photos earlier, there's like a lot of variations in the salsa criollas that different people make, and so I encourage you just to have fun with this and to make it your own. So here's the basic ingredients that you'll need. However, feel free to change it up, and don't worry about it if you need to make substitutions like a different color onion or anything like that. And lastly, for a written list of these ingredients, you can see the video description. If you like spice, feel free to add jalapeño, ají amarillo peppers, or any kind of hot pepper. So now you need to wash the produce, your tomato, lime, pepper, and cilantro, and then wait till a little bit later to wash the onion. Alright, now that we've washed all of our produce, let's start chopping. Peel the outermost layer of the onion. So this is the root end, and this is the stem end. So I made a filming mistake, and so you're about to see me cutting a half onion in half. However, try to pretend, please, that it's me cutting a whole onion in half. Additionally, onions can be pretty tricky to cut, so if you can ask a parent or guardian for help, please don't hesitate to do so. Chop off the stem end, and try to chop straight down as much as possible. Then you'll want to peel off one more layer from the onion. Next, just give your onion a quick rinse in the sink. Next, set the flat side of the onion down on the cutting board and cut the onion in half. Make a few cuts like this. And please remember to keep holding the knife correctly and keep using the claw. Next, turn the onion 90 degrees and then just chop it up like this. You'll end up with a piece like this. Just safely chop it however you can. And finally, add your onion to the bowl. Next, cut the tomato in half. Then, for all 4 of your halves, remove this greenish-whitish part. Next, use a spoon to scoop out the seeds and core. Repeat for all 4 halves. Also, if you're feeling lazy, you can skip this step. Next, cut the tomato into smaller pieces. Add the tomato to the bowl. So here is our third of a bunch. And I'm going to chop off the bottom 1/3 of the stems because we want the top 2/3 of the stems and the leaves. Now just simply chop your cilantro into whatever size pieces you think you'll want to eat. Then add your cilantro to the bowl with the onion and tomato. So for the jalapeno, chop the end off like this. And then you can use a butter knife to cut the jalapeno in half lengthwise. Next, remove the jalapeno seeds and core. The core is the white part. You can just use your hands to do this. And if you want to add some extra spice, you can include some of the jalapeno seeds. When you're done, it should look something like this. Then repeat the process for your other half or halves. Next, you should probably pause and wash your hands. So anytime that you are handling jalapenos or any hot pepper, you want to wash your hands afterwards, because otherwise if you don't and you touch like your face or somebody else's face, it will burn your eyes. Next, chop the jalapeno into smaller pieces, then add it to the bowl. Our last piece of produce is the lime. Begin by cutting the lime in half. I did not cut mine in half, but that's what I would recommend. And if you have a lime squeezer like this, you can just use that to squeeze the lime juice into the bowl. And if you don't have a lime squeezer, you can just use your hands as you see me doing. Just make sure you wash them first. Next, add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. If you don't have olive oil, you can also use canola, sunflower, or vegetable oil. Next, add a half teaspoon of salt, spread evenly around the bowl. And lastly, add 1/4 of a teaspoon of ground black pepper. Then give your salsa criolla a good stir. So you will, of course, need to figure out what to eat your salsa criolla alongside, but here's a few ideas to get you thinking. Alright, that's it. There you have salsa criolla. I hope that you'll enjoy it. Thank you so much for joining me for our second cooking class. I'm really curious to see what you all eat your salsa criolla alongside. So if you'd like to, you can send a photo of that to either Garbee or myself. Also, please do email me if you have questions. And then lastly, thank you to those who have already taken the cooking/food preferences survey. If you have not taken the survey yet, please do if you can. It's on the Youth Center Google Classroom page. Thanks, y'all. See you next week.